how exciting it is for us to be here this morning in the true presence of our Father and Founder. We try every day to live His Spirit, but today we connect that Spirit with His bodily remains. I want to begin with a story. When I was going into my junior year at Don Bosco Prep, the Marian Shrine took on a very important meaning for me in my life. Over the summer, I worked on my Eagle Scout project here, and not far from where we're sitting in the chapel now, there's an outdoor chapel dedicated to Mary Helping Christians. And what I did was I refurbished and painted 50 park benches out of that outdoor chapel. And at the conclusion of my project, one of the Salesians that was working here at the time and who I'd worked very closely with gave me a portrait of Don Bosco as a thank you gift. And I promptly and duly put that on my wall at the foot of my bed in my bedroom. So every night when I go to bed, I see the face of Don Bosco. And every morning when I wake up, I see the face of Don Bosco. And over the many years now, one thing that I have always noticed about Don Bosco's portrait, and one thing that I hope you can envision in your head from all the portraits that we have of Don Bosco at the Prep, and all the statues that you see around, I've always noticed his smile. And I hope you guys can envision in your head that small, little, meaningful smile of Don Bosco. It's not a wide ear-to-ear grin by any stretch of the imagination, but in every photo and every portrait of Don Bosco, it's just that small, packed with meaning, packed with love, smile. And today I would just like to reflect briefly on what that smile means for all of us as Don Bosco's followers. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. Indeed, that picture on my wall is for me, but that smile for us is worth 1,000 more. December 8th, 1841 is cited as the birthday of the Salesians. Don Bosco, a newly ordained priest at the time, was going into the church to celebrate Mass, and he found one of the sacristans driving out this young boy who refused to be an altar server. This young boy, and many of us know his name, Bartholomew Gorelli. And Don Bosco said to the sacristan, "Stop, stop, 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 stop." And at that moment, with a smile, with something that may at the time have seemed so meaningless, but we know now to have been so meaningful, with a smile on that day in 1841, Don Bosco began his work. With a smile, Don Bosco began his work that now continues today in all of us and in 130 countries around the world. For us, Don Bosco's small but meaningful smile is two things. It's one, an invitation, and it's two, an inspiration. Don Bosco calls us, he invites us to live our lives in joy. There's nothing more joyful than going to a prep football game, right? We see Don Bosco's spirit alive there. We see Don Bosco's spirit alive in the prep when we have our awesome musicals every spring. But Don Bosco calls us to live every moment of our life with joy. And what kind of joy does he call us to live with? He calls us to live with the same joy that he lived with. The joy that comes from knowing that we are loved by Christ. Jesus tells us in the Gospels that his love for us is like the love between the Father and the Son and the Trinity. This love that is just beyond imagination. And Don Bosco tried, as finite as his mind was, and as finite as our minds are, Don Bosco tried to reason that love and live out that joy that comes from knowing that we are that loved by Christ. Don Bosco, too, wanted to show us the path to holiness by meeting us where we are. And the pilgrimage of this relic is a reminder today for us that Don Bosco says we don't have to go to the ends of the earth. We don't have to go to Turin, Italy to encounter him. He's coming to us, just like he came to the boys that he first worked with in his oratory. He meets us here as we are, in our sinful and broken state and wet as we may be today. But he comes here to meet us, and he is personally here today to invite us to follow his pathway to holiness. I'm so blessed at my time at the Prep to have always been reminded by Father Lou Molinelli, by Father Steve Week, and other Salesians that touched me. But those two Salesians in particular always reminded us that Don Bosco told us to do the ordinary things of life extraordinarily well. That's how we were called to live out Don Bosco's charism of holiness. We don't have to go out and save the world, although if you're called to do that, more power to you. But Don Bosco shows that we don't have to go out and save the world. It's that in doing the ordinary things that we do each and every day extraordinarily well, that's how we live out Don Bosco's style of holiness. That's how we are invited and inspired by Don Bosco to live lives of joy that are alive with knowing that we are so loved by Christ. He also inspires us to love and to serve. But we don't have to love and serve in huge ways. We love and we serve by being a friend to someone sitting alone in the cafeteria. We love and we serve by pouring our hearts into the sports, the extracurricular activities, all the clubs that we are a part of at the Prep. That's how we're called to love and serve in Don Bosco's style. By giving our whole minds and hearts and souls to each and everything we do every day, we are truly following Don Bosco, who is here today to inspire us. So, I will leave you with this thought. Don Bosco calls each and every one of us to do the ordinary things of life extraordinarily well. And I have a challenge for each and every one of you. When you leave this place today, and when Don Bosco's relics continue to travel the world, I would ask you, if you do nothing else extraordinarily well, do one thing. Smile extraordinarily well. Smile extraordinarily well as Don Bosco taught us. Because on that day, December 8th, 1841, Don Bosco began a movement that has swept the world with his smile. Just think of the change that each and every one of you, that we can all affect in the world if we only smile extraordinarily well. Just as Don Bosco's small but meaningful smile was so important and so formative for Bartholomew Corelli and for the future of Don Bosco's oratory, each and every one of us can have such an impact with our smile. Don Bosco changed the world with his smile, and so can you. So,